Wow, what a day to be a Chicago Cubs fan. The guys are buyers at the deadline. Today, we beat the absolute crap out of the Kansas City Royals, and there's a huge trade that goes down, which results in Christopher Morel getting traded mid game and leaving the bench. Very, very emotional if you saw that live, but it happens. We must await the next couple days to see if the Cubs are going to be buyers more and see if there's going to be any additional changes to this lineup. So far, the last couple games, offense has been immaculate, pitching has been lights out, and we're going to break down the series and then also break down the trade that happened mid-game for Christopher Morel, where he is now going to be going to Tampa Bay. Let's just hope that we can look down the line and look back and hope Jed made a good decision here. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into another edition of Justin of the Year Chicago Cubs. My name is Justin Winterhoff. Let's get right into this action-packed episode. 16 runs were put up in the last two games of a three-game series versus the Kansas City Royals, and we win two of the three, with today being an offensive masterclass coming into the later innings. Game two was really special because we saw Patrick Wisdom coming in to pinch hit, and he hits a grand slam, which is something that seems to happen quite a bit when you are a pinch hitter for the Chicago Cubs. And today, he hits another home run. So he's now on a two-game home run streak. And the question's got to be asked, is this a guy that we can definitely be selling at the trade deadline the next couple days? I guess we will see. We see in game two that Shota throws for 5 innings, gives up 3 runs, and then Porter Hodge and Hector Neris get in there and do their jobs, and we go away with a 9-4 victory. Finishing the series today, we see Javier Assad finally go over 5 innings, pitches 6 innings, along with 5 strikeouts, but 3 earned runs given up. We see Leiter Jr. and Neris close out that game. And then shout out to Hector Neris. He's been really, doing his job lately. He's closing out games, not giving up runs. Really proud of him and what he's done. And then finally, mid-game today, we see the trade happen. And it's a very sad scene in the dugout. We see Morel shaken up with batting coaches. We see Morel shaken up with miscellaneous guys. And let's talk about it. The Cubs trade Christopher Morel, Ty Johnson, and Hunter Biggie for Isaac Paredes in a blockbuster trade that involves us swapping our third baseman, which has been a void for the Chicago Cubs since the departure of Chris Bryant. Funny enough, the Cubs actually had Isaac Paredes back in 2017, but he never played a game for them as he was ultimately traded to the Detroit Tigers for probably a bag of peanuts. Morel led the Cubs this season with home runs, 18 to be exact, but only maintained a .199 batting average, while Isaac has a .247 ERA, 16 home runs, and 55 RBIs. On top of that, he was actually selected to the All-Star game this season as well. He's a very, very good defensive player, and this is going to be providing us with a long-term option at third base, offensively and defensively. In my eyes, I love the trade. And again, this is a long-term venture for the Chicago Cubs. And the way I think Jed sees it is that Isaac has a very low salary right now, and he doesn't need to be paid out for 3 whole seasons. So he, being an all-star this year, is going to be playing for the Cubs at a low salary, and this is going to allow us to be a little bit more free the next couple seasons and possibly build up that World Series team that we can go back to. It's really hard to lose Christopher Morel. I loved his infectious personality. I loved the way he played. He was a Chicago Cub through and through, and there's not going to be a day where I don't look back and think about how awesome he really was. So we got to keep moving forward. I'm happy that we have a viable permanent third baseman now who can hit. We'll see what happens. Huge shout out to our sponsor, Freshie, the drink of the summer. Everyone run to your nearest vendor, grab as much as you possibly can because this is the drink of the summer. Grab the blood orange habanero. Thank you so much, Freshie, for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about the impact Isaac Paredes can really make to the Chicago Cubs moving forward the rest of the season. It's without question you're going to have to insert him in that cleanup spot, which Morel was typically in, but also Isaac was in the cleanup spot in Tampa Bay as well. And There, you're going to be able to pick up the most RBIs that you possibly can because you look at the top of our lineup, it'll typically go Hap, Swanson, and Bellinger on any given day. And Hap and Swanson are going to get on base any possible way they can. So with him, this could be a really, really huge statistical gain coming to Chicago as opposed to being in Tampa Bay. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to do in our lineup moving forward this season and also going onward. Again, with his contract being so little, I think next year is going to be very, very exciting during free agency because a lot of teams a lot of players that are on teams right now that don't want to be there, they're going to be looking at Chicago and looking at this lineup and saying, wow, I really want to go play there. So I'm super excited for next year's offseason to see who we can obtain because of how much money we're saving on a guy like Paredes. Expectations are that he's going to actually play against the Cincinnati Reds on the 29th. So how awesome would it be if he plays his first game as Chicago Cub, and he hits a home run? We've obviously seen it so many times with Morel. We've seen it with a multitude of other guys like Contreras, and I'd love to see something like that happen for him. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the guy. The player of the week has to go to Christopher Morel, not because he's played any, significantly more well or whatever. It's just a matter of he was traded mid-game, and I know a lot of Cubs fans are upset about that. I've seen it all over X. People are infuriated, and everyone's saying, Jed's going to regret this. Whether he's going to regret this or not, it happens. It's part of the business, guys. We have to understand that this is a business at the end of the day. And unfortunately, Morel was just not keeping up with what his expectations were, especially this year. I'm going to miss the guy. This is the last time I'm going to be able to say Christopher Morel and Chicago Cubs in a sentence. So I just want to give him one last shout out before I can do that. So thank you so much, buddy. It's been great seeing you play. You are a Chicago Cub through and through. Thank you so much. Good luck in Tampa Bay. Wrapping everything up after just a crazy, crazy July 28th, we are going to, again, say goodbye and give our best regards to Christopher Morel, but we are also going to welcome Isaac Paredes with open arms because this guy is going to be our future. He is our permanent third baseman moving forward, and he's going to provide us with an amazing bat at that cleanup spot for us as well. I am very excited for the Chicago Cubs. This is a move that really, really gives confidence to your team because a lot of the expectations were that the Cubs were going to be sellers at the deadline, but everything has been opposite of that. We've signed a reliever. We traded for a reliever. We also traded for a big bat. And I'm so pumped for Jed and what he's doing for this team. It's only going to be more exciting as each day goes on and if this trade is going to pay off for us in the end. As always, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into another edition of Just Another Year Chicago Cubs. My name is Justin Winteroth. Go Cubs, go. Let's see what happens next. Thanks. Have a great night.